Today we have to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 and some interesting reports that are popping up online calling into question just how powerful the DLSS feature will be within this hardware, because you've probably heard up to this point in time various different rumors and reports. No, Nintendo hasn't officially announced this stuff themselves, so if you're waiting for Nintendo's announcement, continue to wait on the sidelines. If you want to know what some decently credible sources behind the scenes are saying about these supposed dev kits that are floating around out there that should give us a loose idea of what to expect in terms of tech spec power for this thing, then stick around and enjoy the conversation. But there's been this idea discussed at length for Nintendo utilizing DLSS in a big way with their next generation hardware due to their partner with Nvidia, who currently makes the Tegra X1 that of course is powering the Nintendo Switch family of consoles that we all know and love today, and they have a technology proprietary to their own GPUs known as DLSS, or Deep Learning Super Sampling. Now, this uses AI to essentially take a low resolution image and essentially use AI to upscale the image in a way that is not so taxing on the GPU hardware itself, leading you to have much better resolutions and frame rates at a much lower cost on performance. And when you talk about Nintendo's hybrid form factor, that of course is very restrictive in terms of how big the actual hardware can be and how much power it can draw, especially when playing in portable mode, you of course have a match made in heaven, which is DLSS, which is more or less a cheat code to get a lot of extra performance out of games without having to ramp up processors to a ridiculously high speed, which would also cause a lot of heat, and that could cause issues in a smaller handheld console. You get the idea. Well, following Gamescom 2023, there was a lot of excitement around this feature because of course we had those initial reports hit that Nintendo was showing off a PC, not the Nintendo Switch 2 like Furukawa did shoot down, and technically he's not lying in that statement. They were not claiming that they saw Nintendo Switch 2 development hardware or even a loose prototype that may turn into the ultimate product. No, they were claiming that developers were being shown a PC with target specs for what the next gen console is going to be close to in terms of raw power, and they were showing things like the Matrix Awakens demo. That of course in and of itself is not that impressive, but what people were saying is that this thing actually looks pretty dang good, and the ray tracing that was enabled, you may even be able to compare it, if not put it above, of the type of ray tracing that we see in things like the PlayStation 5 and Series X. That does not mean that Nintendo's hardware is more powerful than those consoles, but rather the tactics and hardware tricks that are being utilized with Nintendo's consoles is supposedly giving them a little bit of a leg up on that particular visual enhancement that we've really just now started to see in the most modern games full utilization of. But now, according to one source, it is being called into question just how powerful Nintendo's DLSS technology will be within this new console, as we have to first hop over to VGC and read through their detailed typed up article, which kind of breaks this all down. Switch 2's DLSS upscaling might not be as powerful as hoped, it's claimed. If true, it would mean the upscaling could be limited to 1080p or 1440p. Numerous reports, including VGC's own, have suggested that Nintendo's next console will use NVIDIA DLSS upscaling technology. DLSS, Deep Learning Super Sampling, is a feature exclusive to NVIDIA graphics cards. On PC, it works by using AI to upscale the resolution of games, effectively allowing developers to achieve higher graphical settings and better frame rates on weaker hardware. However, some of NVIDIA's DLSS solutions also use extra tech called Deep Learning Accelerator, or DLA, which uses a standalone engine designed to speed up AI calculations. Because deep learning calculations can be computationally expensive, meaning they can use a lot of processing power, DLA is designed to take on most of the heavy lifting to free up that power so it can be used elsewhere. In the latest episode of Digital Foundry's DF Direct Show, founder Richard Ledbetter stated that, according to his sources, the Switch's successor will feature DLSS but won't have DLA accompanying it. There was the question mark over the cost of DLSS and whether Nintendo is going to include a deep learning accelerator similar to the one that was in the T234 GPU, which would effectively make DLSS free or at least a lot less computationally expensive, Ledbetter said. Referring to the T239 GPU, which is rumored to be in the next console, he added, "I've had some sources come forward saying there's no DLA in the T239, which would limit the viability of DLSS quite significantly." Ledbetter estimated that if the Switch's successor had DLSS without DLA, it would be unlikely that the console would be able to upscale to 4K, and that more realistically, it would be like 1080p upscaling, possibly 1440p if you're lucky, depending on the game. So since this report has come forward, there's been some conflicting opinions from others online within the know as well. names like Nate the Hate and Necro Felipe, who have both kind of insinuated that this maybe isn't as big of a deal as this particular individual or sources, quote unquote, that has come forward to Digital Foundry with this info are making it out to be. So you kind of have to sit back and wait with this particular one. We really don't know how much, if at all, this will impact the entire power performance level of Nintendo's next gen successor, but it does sound like if DLA is indeed missing from the Tegra T239, which is not the confirmed chip for the Switch 2, but there are so many signs pointing to it that it seems like it definitely is what is believed to be in this hardware, that in that case, it does seem like it will be a lot harder to just automatically expect a 4K up-resed image. I still personally am on the side of the fence that I don't think Nintendo is going to go an entire another console generation without having us have support for 4K when docked gameplay. I mean, that is literally the default TV resolution now. You more or less have to go out of your way to purchase a new TV that doesn't have 4K enabled, even on the lower front of the price point, talking very discount bargain bin TVs. Literally everything is 4K now. I don't see Nintendo releasing anything for the next 5 to 7 years that they will no doubt last this upcoming generation without at least being able to hit that target benchmark. And it's not going to be native 4K, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be even what the PS5 or Series X are running, but I do think that via DLSS and upscaling, that when docked, it will likely have at least enough power to get our images to a upscaled version of 4K. Maybe they upscale it to 1440p and then there's something else outside of DLSS that takes it the rest of the way. I'm not going to claim to know the technical nuances of DLA being enabled or not enabled, but it does sound like something that Nintendo may have to go through additional hoops if it's not indeed included in this T239 chipset. But again, this is being claimed from Digital Foundry sources that we don't know just how much inside knowledge they have. It does seem like they have connections within the development community, and maybe there is some talk going around about the capabilities of what the T239 can do, and they're starting to realize that it's not quite as capable when it comes to DLSS with DLA enabled, and maybe we're not getting the best of what the technology has to offer. But I'd be willing to bet that with how Nintendo and Nvidia's partnership has evolved at this point in time and the success that we have seen them deliver with the Nintendo Switch family of consoles, that they are going to be working side by side on a custom chipset that is more than capable and more than enough of a notable upgrade for all of us existing Switch owners to want to upgrade to this new, more powerful hardware when it does indeed get revealed and dropped. And I still am team 2024 all the way for that. I think we get the reveal and the actual launch date coming next year, but that's really where I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video. What do you make of all these rumors and reports that suggest that maybe DLA is missing from the DLSS conversation on Nintendo's upcoming hardware? Do you think it impacts things like getting to 4K resolution when docked on a TV? Do you think Nintendo has it solved for another way? And because we don't have the full entire picture of what's going on with this console yet, that maybe that's why things are getting ran with online, but it's not really going to be indicative of what the hardware launches with when it's all said and done? And are you like me and you think that there's no doubt that Nintendo will, when docked, at least target that 4K resolution via upscaling just to be able to market it and be the supported resolution of modern TVs? Or do you think there's a chance that we actually see Nintendo launch yet another console generation stuck at 1080p or 1440p? I definitely don't think that, but I would love to hear your thought process if you do. So thanks for watching the video today. Make sure you leave me a comment before you leave, because I do look forward to hearing your opinions, whether we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.